Dear students, welcome to the virtual class of HRM. Okay, and this lecture we are going to start our second module. The second module name is acquisition of human resources. Okay, so before going to start this lecture, I would like to give you brief introduction about this module. First of all, the meaning of acquisition. Okay, because we are clear about the human resources, we are clear about the meaning of human resources in our first module. Now in the second module we are going to learn acquisition of human resources. So acquisition means what? Acquiring means it is one type of process to bring the employees in our organization, or procuring the employees in our organization. So that we are following many techniques, we are following many policies to recruit employees in our organization or to acquire the employees in our organization. So which types of process we are following, how we will keep the employees motivated in the organization, how we will procure the employees in the organizations, which types of skill required, which types of technique requires, etc point we are going to learn in this module. Okay, so ultimately the meaning of acquisition is procuring the employees in the organization. Okay, here it is the flow of presentation, and here we have covered all the points which we have to learn in our syllabus. Okay, so flow of presentation, the first point is HR planning, human resource planning. Second point is job analysis. Third point is recruitment. Fourth point is selection. Fifth point, placement. And the last point is induction. Okay, so here the basic meaning of the flow of presentation. In the HR planning, we have to learn about the human resource planning, or which types of employees we are going to recruit in the organization in the future. So which types of process we are following, how we will procure this employees in the organization, we will learn these types of point under the HR planning. Job analysis, under this point we have to learn like how to analyze the job description and other points which we will learn in detail under the job analysis. Okay, job description, job specification, etc point. Now the third point is recruitment and fourth point is selection. There is a vast difference between the recruitment and selection, but many times students make mistake in this point, like recruitment and selection both points are same, but actually the both points are different. In a simple word, I can say that in a positive way we are collecting the information, we are trying to collect the maximum information of the employees and trying to give the maximum job to the employees. It's called one type of recruitment. Selection is nothing but whatever applications we have got from the market, but we have to reject the maximum applications, or ultimately we can say that we have to select the best one, because we are not able to give job to everyone, but we have to select the best one out of the quantity of the applications we have available. Placement is nothing but giving the proper place to the employees who are eligible for what, which place, how much work we should give, etc point we will learn under the placement. Induction, it is nothing but one type of introduction given to the employees about the organization and make friendly environment for the employees which we have recruited in the organization. So these are the flow of presentations which we are going to learn. The next point is, or the first point of this module is HR planning. HR planning means human resource planning. Okay, so here in the introduction we can say that the meaning of planning is nothing but whatever activities we are going to perform in the future, it's called planning. Okay, whatever activities we are going to perform in the future, but we are as an HR department deciding this process in the present, it's called planning. It's called planning related to the HRM. How it is HR planning? When we are deciding the activities, we are deciding employees related work or the recruitment related work which we are going to implement in the future, but we are deciding in the present. It's called human resource planning, because how many employees we require, which types of employees we require, when we require, what are the number we require, etc., etc. point we have to decide in the present and we have to implement in the future. Okay, we have to implement in the future, but we have to decide in the present. But this activities is related to the employees, that's why it is HR planning. That's why we can use the word the HR planning. Okay, the concept is almost same. Introduction is nothing but one type of concept, but though we will discuss this point like definitions and etc., etc. point. Okay, the meaning of the term human resource planning would become clear on the basis of some definitions. That's why basic definition is important. Like first definition, Coleman has given. Okay, Coleman has given the definition of HRP. Okay, I have given detail about the definition, introduction, concept. Okay, but here first I will explain the point to point, then we will discuss in the detail. Okay, the concept under that, the definition. Coleman has given the definition of HRP. Manpower planning or human resource planning is the process of determining manpower requirements and the means for meeting those requirements in order to carry out the integrated plan of the organization. Okay, this is the definition given by the Coleman, Coleman. Coleman. What Coleman has suggested about the human resource planning, like manpower planning or human resource planning is the process of determining manpower requirement. Determining manpower requirement means how many employees we require in the organization in the future. Okay, so here to determining manpower requirements and the means for meeting those requirements in order to carry out the integrated plan of the organization, or we can say that these types of employees how we will get in our organization. For that we are conducting a meeting or we are deciding in the present. It's called human resource planning. So this is the definition given by the Coleman. Clear? And the second definition, E.W. Vetter, Vetter. What Vetter suggested about the human resource planning? This is the definition, like human resource planning is the process by which an organization should move from its current manpower position to its desired manpower position. Through planning, management strives to have the right number and right kind of people at the right place at the right time, doing things which result in both the organization and the individual receiving maximum long run benefit. Okay, so here what E.W. Vetter has suggested that how much employees we require in the futures, so that we can manage the right number of employees, right kind of employees for the right place. Okay, so it is the responsibility of the HR department to managing these employees in the organization. It's called human resource planning. Clear till here? According to Wickstrom, human resource planning consists of following series of activities. Like there are many activities which we have to cover under the human resource planning. Like the first point is to forecast future manpower requirement with the help of suitable forecasting techniques. Okay. The second point is to take stock of the available manpower and to check their level of utilization. The third point is to match present employees and future requirement and to find the qualitative as well as quantitative gap. The fourth point is to plan programs of selection, recruitment, promotion, transfer, development, training, etc. to fill the gap and to ensure the fulfillment of future requirement. So these are the definitions of human resource planning. Clear till here? Okay. If you are not getting the point, please listen this definition again, because it is very important for you. Now the third point is process. I have given all the points in detail, but first I would like to explain this point in my way. Okay, then we will discuss this point. Don't worry about it. Okay. Process is nothing but step by steps activities, one by one activities which followed. Okay, so human resource planning process has 7 steps. How many steps are there? 7. Which are these steps? Here, these are the steps we have to learn under the human resource planning process, HRP process. It is the short form of HRP, human resource planning process. Okay, the first point is analysis of organizational strategy, estimation of human resource demand. Third point is forecasting of human resource supply. The fourth point is estimation of net human resource requirement. Fifth point is managing surplus of human resources. Sixth point is managing deficit of human resources. And the seventh point is revising organizational plan and strategy. Okay, do not mix these steps. It must be in a sequence. Okay, you should not change the sequence of the process. Okay, so human resource planning process carried 7 points. These are the 7 points, like analysis of organizational strategy, estimation of human resource demand, forecasting of HR planning, HR supply, estimation of net HR requirement, managing surplus of human resources, managing deficit of human resources, revising organizational plan and strategy. Okay, so we have to write down this point in detail. Like the first point is analysis of organizational strategy. It is very first step in the process of human resource planning is to study and analyze corporate level strategy. Company strategy could be of merger, amalgamation, diversification, expansion, etc. etc. Functional level strategies are to be determined in accordance to the overall strategy. Thus, human resource strategy is to be designed keeping in view organizational strategy. Basically, human resource strategy pertains to making provision for the required employees in terms of quantity as well as quality. To implement corporate level strategy, thus organizational strategy provides the base for developing human resource plan. So it is the first point of analyzing of human resource planning process is analyzing of organizational strategy. Strategy is nothing but it is the one type of viewpoint which we are going to implement. So here we have to analyze, okay, whatever techniques we are going to implement in the organization, it is okay, it is good, or it is not okay, etc., etc. point we have to analyze before going to implement any strategy or any techniques which implemented for getting the work done by others, because we require the others. That's why it is the analyzing of organizational strategy, first point of HRP process. Second point is estimation of human resource demand. Ultimately we can say that first point is the point through which we will get the idea about the techniques, about the work, and how we are performing in the organization. We will get idea with the help of analyzing the organizational strategy. In the second point, we have to decide, we have to estimate how many employees we require in the organization, which types of employees we require in the organization, when we require these types of employees in the organization, how we will get this information when the HR department manage to analyze this strategy, to analyze the work. For example, the demand is 100 product and we require 10 employees, but currently there are 8 employees who are performing these activities, but here we require 10 employees. So how many employees we require, another employees we require in the organization? 2. So here we can say that the estimation of the HR demand is 2. Likewise, so here the second point, estimation of human resource demand. Human resource requirement is estimated keeping in view organizational strategy. Requirement is to be estimated in terms of number, in the sense that how many employees would be needed to implement corporate strategy. Same way, estimation is to be done for the type of employees needed in the terms of required skill and knowledge. Job design and job analysis helps in estimating future requirement of human resources. There are several methods with the help of which demand for human resource is estimated. The widely used methods are managerial judgment, statistical techniques like ratio, trend analysis, econometrics model, work study techniques, etc., etc. techniques or method we should implement in the organization so that we can easily estimate the number of employees required in the organization, or estimation of the HR demand. Clear till here? The next point is forecasting of HR supply. Ultimately we can say that in the second point we have decided like these types of number we require, this number of the employees we require in the organization, these types of quality we require from the employees. Okay, now in the third point, from which place we will get these types of employees, from where we will get this HR person or human resources we will get. So here forecasting of HR supply, from where we are able to get these types of employees. For example, we will get these types of employees from the college recruitment, from the market recruitment, from the internal recruitment, from the external recruitment, from the particular place, etc., etc., through which we have to forecast like these types of employees we will get from these institutions, from this place, from this market, from this method, etc., etc., called forecasting of human resource supply. The very first step in the exercise of estimating future supply of human resources is to take stock of existing human resource inventories. The present stock of inventory is checked number wise, department wise, designation wise, etc., etc. It involves the following steps like total number of employees is counted, number is counted department wise, designation wise, salary wise, skill wise, etc. Then job categories are developed on the basis of some criteria so as to put similar job in one category, and then number is counted in each category. Categories are developed on the basis of skill requirement, nature of job, etc. For example, all administrative jobs like clerk, typist, etc. are put in one category. All the jobs require similar skill and knowledge are put together. Like the next point is job categories are developed on the basis of age. Then number and nature of employees are counted in each category. After taking the stock of existing employees, future supply of employees is calculated considering potential addition and potential losses in the present stock of employees. For example, like present inventory plus potential additions is equal to total future supply, or the second, like we can say that total future supply minus potential losses is equal to net future supply. This is the way we can forecasting of human resource supply, or ultimately we can say that the exact number, exact place and exact way we can easily find out with the help of forecasting of human supply. Okay, clear till here? The next point is estimation of net human resource requirement. Like net human resource requirement is estimated taking into consideration future demand and net future supply of the employees. This requirement is to be estimated number wise and nature wise. For example, net human resource requirement is equal to future demand minus net future supply, so that we can get the estimation of net human resource requirement, or exactly which number, how many employees we require, we will get the exact number. For example, nowadays government is giving the advice that we require 10,000 employees, 1200 employees, etc, etc. How they can deciding this number? They can deciding this number on the basis of estimation of net human resource requirement. Clear? Fifth point, managing surplus of human resources. Many times it's happened with the organization, like they are trying to manage the employees, but many times the number of employees increases in the organization, or extra employees we as an organization carried out. So what to do? Because we require 10 employees, but currently we have more than 10 employees in our organization. So what to do? Because many times happen this with the organization, because exact number of employees recruiting in the organization is not possible. Many times it surplus, or many times it deficit. So whenever we are facing, like in the step 5 and step 6, that time what to do? Like when the number of employees in our organization increases because of the recruitment process, we are not able to manage the exact number of the employees in the organization. It happens like we are recruiting more number of employees, like we require 10 employees and we recruited 12 employees in the organization, and many times it happens that we are trying to recruit 10 employees, but we are not able to recruit 10 employees, but we are able to recruit only 8 employees. So it's called deficits. So in this situation, what to do? Like managing surplus of human resources and managing deficit of human resources. So here the HR department or HR planning department will manage that if we have a number of employees more than requirement, that time we are giving work to the employees where the number of employees is less. For example, we can say that there are many departments in the same in a single organization, like HR department, marketing department, finance department. So that it happens that in the marketing department the number of employees is very high, but in the finance department the number of employees is very less. In marketing department we require only 10 employees, but we have 12 employees, and in the finance department it happens that we have 8 employees, but we require 10 employees. So in this situation we have to manage, as an HR manager we have to manage surplus of human resources. So we will bring 2 employees from marketing department and put them or we will give place to them in a finance department, the employees who are able to manage the financial activities or financial related work. So we will select any 2 employees who are eligible to work in finance department. So we will manage these employees from marketing department to finance department. So this process, these steps called managing surplus of human resources, and the same thing is implemented in the deficit side. Like whatever method we have implemented in the finance department side, we can say that requirement of the employees is 10, but we have 8 employees. So deficit of the human resources, that time we will bring these 2 employees from any other departments the employees who are able and eligible to perform these activities. Okay, so these 2 points are very easy. Like fifth point, managing surplus of human resources, and sixth point is managing deficit of human resources. Clear? Seventh point, revising organizational plan and strategy. At the end we have to revise overall plan that, like, we have performed proper activities, we have done properly this work or not. So that time we have to revise the every steps of the organization. We have to revise the actual work. We have to revise and we have to compare actual work with the expected work, so that we can easily find out the gap. If we are able to find out any gap, that time we have to implement some techniques to manage these things. Okay, so revising organizational plan and strategy is, organizational plan is to be changed if it is concluded that future requirement cannot be fulfilled fully after considering all possible sources. The overall plan is to be altered, keeping in view future scarcity of human resources. Okay, clear? Many times in our examinations, for the 7 marks questions or for the 5 marks questions, they are asking the questions related to the managing surplus of human resources and managing deficit of human resources. Many times it's happened that they will arranging this point separately, or they can ask separate questions like managing surplus of human resources, or the question is managing deficit of human resources. That time what to do, how to manage these questions? So write down managing surplus of human resources. If estimation shows surplus of human resources in the whole organization or in any department or unit, accordingly plan is developed to adjust the employees. If surplus is estimated in some departments, only then some employees can be shifted to other departments by way of promotion, transfer or demotion to the extent possible. If the surplus is estimated in the whole organization, plan is made for the retrenchment of the employee, but it has to be done in the consultations of trade union. Thus there are two possibilities like deployment or relocation and retrenchment, through which we can arranging the surplus of human resources. For example, we can implement the techniques of relocation of employees, like we should change the location of the employees from one location to another location and we are able to managing the surplus of the employees. Or retrenchment or cutback, here we can say that we can fire them. This is the way we can applying the work. Many times recession, in the recession time the surplus employees we are facing, like the demand of the employees is 10 but we require only demand of the employees is 10 and we have 20 employees. So in the recession time we can cut back the process. It is the point of surplus of human resources. That time we can implement the techniques of sharing the work, like one employee is working in the organization 8 hours in a day, but we can share because we require only 10 employees but we have 20 employees, so we should pay half salary to both because we do not want to fire them. That's why we have to manage the sharing the work. Then reduction in working hours, leave without pay policy, temporary or permanent layoff, early retirement, attrition, forced retirement and creation of ad hoc position. These are the techniques through which we can managing surplus of human resources in the organization. When we are facing the deficit of human resources, that time like internal way we are implementing many techniques like promotion plan, transfer plan, training and development plan, retention plan. These are the internal techniques which we can use to managing the surplus of human resources in the organization. When the external plans, we can say that outsourcing plan, we can outsource the work from other department, from the other organization, and we can manage these things because we are not able to recruiting the employees on this part. So many times we can implement outsourcing plan. The second is recruitment and selection plan. This is also managing the deficit of human resource managing. Clear till here? Okay, we will learn next point in the next lecture, like human resource planning significance or ultimately importance of human resource planning. We will learn in the next lecture. HRP process is the most important point for your examination. Okay, thank you. That's all for today's lecture. We will discuss the next point in the next lecture.